Mary, first up, how did that match feel in terms of goals and also a win and a clean sheet for all the CommBank Matildas?
Yeah, it felt good. I think we spoke about, after the last game, we spoke about trying to be consistent and not take that first win for granted and just be a bit blasé in the second game. So I think that was a real positive from this game, that we went out there and tried to have a consistent performance. So yeah, I think all the girls are happy with that part.
Been a lot of talk about what position and where to play Mary Fowler. How did you find it out on the wing tonight? You certainly looked at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at Clubland, I play on the wing quite often, and I really like playing there. I think I see a lot of the field from there and just a lot of different angles, so I enjoyed being there tonight. And I think on a personal level, I want to try to be a bit more consistent with my performance as a national team, so I think being out in that position made it a bit easier for me to be in a role that I've played quite a bit this season.
Joe?
We just heard Tom talk about finding that position for you. On your side, how's those conversations been with him?
Yeah, good. He's been really open to it. I think, coming into national team, I always try to be a player that's putting the team first. And so if the coach wants me to play somewhere else, I'll put my hand up and go play there. But I think it's just trying to get that balance of trying to get the best out of you and the best out of the team at the same time. So it was nice being out there on the wing. I think I felt more comfortable. I felt like I could give more to the team there. But, if I came in next camp and they wanted me somewhere else, I'd happily do it.
Go ahead, Vladdy.
You've got South Korea coming up, potentially the Asian Cup. Likely going to have to go through them to if you want to go deep. What lessons have you learned over the two games to help you prepare for that in just under a year's time?
Yeah, I think we can take a lot of positives out of it. Like I said, I think we were consistent in both performances. But at the same time, I think we still got a bit to build on. I think in parts, we had really good momentum and then we dropped off a bit and let them creep in. And I think you saw that in some of the attacks they had in both games towards the end especially. So, yeah, I think we just try and take confidence for that moving forward, especially after our last tournament that didn't go so well. But yeah, still I think we're all quite honest that there's still a bit to go, but it's nice that we see a bit of ourselves again.
Now, we'll just go around everyone first. Yep.
With a lot of the newer girls coming in, who impressed you the most that you may not have played with before?
I don't think I spent much time with Jamila, but I thought she did really well in the first game. I don't think much came through her side because she was quite solid there. So I'm keen to see how she does moving forward.
So back there. Yep.
Mary, Penrith Panthers have lost 4 games in a row. Have you got any advice for me?
I know nothing about rugby, so no.
Yeah. Over here, please.
Mary, the last time the Matildas were here, they set a record, and there was a new record for the stadium tonight for the Matildas. You set much bigger records than that with the Matildas, but is it always exciting when you can smash a new crowd attendance record at each different stadium you go to in Australia?
Yeah, definitely. It's always exciting. I think it just shows the growth, and I think, sometimes with a few poor performances, you kind of feel like the momentum's dropping a bit. So it is nice that, we can come into this camp and string a few good performances in and feel like the crowd is still very much interested in it, because I think it does have a big impact on the next generation.
Taxi.
Hi, can you talk us through your goal? Because from where I was sitting, it was a thing of beauty, natural move. So can you talk us through that?
Yeah, I think, in all fairness, the hardest part was probably EVE's pass. It was perfectly weighted. I actually thought it wasn't going to get through, but she told me have a little faith. But yeah, I think in those sorts of things, it's just habit almost. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I think the credit goes to EVE for the pass. I think that's where the chance was created mostly.
Final couple of questions for Mary. Erin?
And you talked a bit about confidence before. How important was that on the back of the She Believes Cup to get 2 wins, 2 clean sheets against a pretty decent opponent?
Yeah, it was really big. I think obviously the results are really important for us, but I think for a bit of time we maybe didn't feel like we had our identity in our performances, and we were just losing games, and I think a bit lost in why we were losing so poorly. And so I think this camp, I think all the girls feel that, like, we're enjoying it a bit more, and we feel like we've got a bit of fight back, and our attacking game is building and getting better. So yeah, I think it's been very positive for us to turn things around this camp. But I think it's equally as important for us to stay humble and keep moving forwards and learning from these performances as well.
Joe, then Paletti? No, all good, Paletti?
You mentioned that you had to survive a few nervy moments towards the end as a side, but there were also some very nervy moments in the opening 20 minutes or so. It sounded like they were getting in behind the defensive line-up wheel. How important was it to see that out, and what, I guess, again, lessons can you take away from that, just with how easy they were to bypass the midfield?
Yeah. I mean, it's football, it happens, and in a way it's good for us to face that, to have confidence that even when that happens, we can get through that and we can keep a clean sheet regardless of that happening. But I think that's something that we also look back on and have to be honest that, like, that has to be better, because, in tournament football, something like that, one chance can go in and it can be the end of a group stage or a knockout stage. So, yeah, I think there's positives in it, but we definitely want to sharpen that up a bit.
Final question.
Just on your time at City, Mary, talk a bit about how getting all those extra game minutes has helped you in when it comes to joining a national team camp?
Yeah, it's been really good at City. I think we've been a bit unlucky with injuries, so it's kind of been a bit of silver lining that I've gotten a lot of game time, but it has really helped me with being consistent. I think that's something that on a personal level I've tried to work on the last couple of seasons. But yeah, I think national team I still would like to be a bit more consistent in my performances. So I think tonight being on that wing made it a bit easier, and hopefully that is a step for me on an individual level to keep that kind of going in that right direction.
All right, thanks everyone. That